Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air. An active shooter reported at Emory University just a short time ago. Multiple shots fired. And President Trump setting a date for a meeting with Vladimir Putin in the U.S. First, the images coming in. Police swarming the scene, flooding the streets near Emory University. Sources telling ABC News officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect. Authorities ordering everyone to shelter in place. Pierre Thomas with late details coming in at this hour. Also tonight, President Trump late today saying he will meet with Vladimir Putin in Alaska 1 week from today to discuss a possible ceasefire in the war in Ukraine. The president suggesting Putin wants peace. Mary Bruce at the White House. Developing tonight after a week on the run, the alleged gunman arrested, accused of killing 4 people in a small town. The canyon fire in Southern California exploding in size, burning across 5,000 acres in a matter of hours. More than 10,000 people forced from their homes, 14 large fires now burning across the state. Firefighters from California to Colorado battling flames in near record temperatures. More than 50 million Americans under dangerous heat alerts. Trevor Ault in California. Tonight, Israel's major escalation in Gaza. Israel's security cabinet approving plans to seize Gaza City. Protesters calling it a death sentence for the remaining hostages held by Hamas. It comes as the humanitarian crisis worsens by the day. A balcony collapsing as Palestinians tried to reach an aid package caught on a building. Frightening moments on board the world's largest cruise ship. A water slide breaking on Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. A passenger injured, water pouring onto the deck below. The powerful moment in court, a remarkable act of forgiveness. The woman hugging the defendant who killed her husband in a hit and run. The wildly popular toy targeted by thieves. Surveillance video showing dozens of boxes stolen. The store saying they're worth thousands of dollars. And remembering an American hero, Apollo 13 Commander James Lovell, famously portrayed by Tom Hanks.
Houston, we have a problem.
The crew flying from the Earth to the moon and back, while America and the world held its breath.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. Several developing stories as we come on tonight. A meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin is now set. We'll have more on where and when it will take place. But we begin with that breaking news. An active shooter on the campus of a major university. Shots fired at Emory University in Atlanta. The campus put on lockdown. Area residents urged to stay indoors. The site near the headquarters of the CDC. A massive law enforcement response, including a SWAT team and the FBI. Witnesses describing the frightening scene unfolding. ABC's Pierre Thomas leads us off with late details just coming in.
Tonight, dozens of police and SWAT teams swarming the scene near Emory University in Atlanta after reports of an active shooter.
Go back up.
Multiple shots fired just before 5 p.m. The campus not far from CDC headquarters.
Some of the windows that might have been shot on various floors of the CDC as gunfire did take place.
Rescue 26 is going to be working it inside Emory U right now. I'm trying to regroup resources here.
Sources telling ABC News a heavily armed suspect was on the roof of a CVS near the campus, possibly opening fire. University officials posting an urgent warning to students: run, hide, fight.
Suddenly I got email and the message from Emory campus saying that there's an active shooter right up at Emory Point CVS, and that is actually where I live.
Sources say local police engaged the suspect and there was an exchange of gunfire. One officer shot and killed. Authorities telling residents nearby stay indoors and lock their doors.
There's nothing I can do except for feeling sad or scared.
Police just reporting the suspect is dead, apparently wounded by gunfire, found on the second floor of the CVS.
We don't have any civilians that have been shot in this active shooter incident. Thank God for that.
Tonight, the FBI is offering assistance, and the White House says that it's monitoring this incredibly dangerous situation. Whit.
Pierre Thomas for us, thank you. Another developing story we're watching tonight. President Trump late today announcing a meeting between himself and Russian President Vladimir Putin right here in the United States to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. He had threatened sanctions against Russia starting today, but instead agreed to this meeting to take place next Friday in Alaska. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
Tonight, President Trump announcing a meeting between him and Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss ending the war in Ukraine is a go.
We're going to have a meeting with Russia.
The president saying that meeting will happen in Alaska next Friday. Trump had given Russia until today to stop the fighting or face additional sanctions, but the fighting has only intensified. And instead of being slapped with sanctions, Putin now preparing to sit down with Trump. The president had been pushing for the meeting to also include Ukrainian President Zelensky, but now moving forward with just Putin.
President Putin, I believe, wants to see peace, and Zelensky wants to see peace. Now, President Zelensky has to get all of his everything he needs, because he's going to have to get ready to sign something, and I think he is working hard to get that done.
As for what's on the table, Trump suggesting a deal could involve some exchange of territory.
We're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated. It's actually nothing easy. It's very complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
The big question tonight, the president asked if this meeting is Russia's last chance to achieve peace.
I don't like using the term last chance. I think my instinct really tells me that we have a shot at it.
Mary Bruce back with us now. And Mary, the other headline from the White House tonight, the president directing the U.S. military to target foreign drug cartels.
This would be an aggressive step in the Trump administration's fight against the cartels. The president directing the Pentagon to prepare options to use military force against some drug cartels in Latin America that have been deemed to be terrorist organizations. Now, one official telling us nothing is imminent, and this would certainly raise a host of legal questions.
Mary, thank you. We're tracking late developments tonight in the urgent manhunt for the suspect wanted for shooting and killing 4 people in Montana. After a week on the run, authorities say the suspect is now under arrest. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Exactly 1 week after 4 people were shot to death in a Montana bar, setting off a massive manhunt. Tonight, authorities announcing the suspect is in custody.
So the challenge is you don't know exactly where he's at, but we knew exactly where we needed to search. And I think it contributed to our success today.
Police say a surveillance camera captured 45-year-old Michael Brown, an Iraq War veteran, fleeing the Owl Bar in the town of Anaconda last Friday, where he allegedly killed a bartender and 3 customers.
We have a visual of someone on Ash Street.
He is believed to be armed and extremely dangerous.
For days, search teams scoured this mountain area while police urged residents to stay inside and lock their doors.
By all indications, this is an unstable individual who walked in and murdered 4 people in cold blood for no reason whatsoever.
The suspect lived next door to the bar where the shooting took place, and police say he was known to law enforcement with a drug history.
Melissa Adon, thank you. Now to the fast-moving wildfires in the West. Thousands forced to evacuate. More than 50 million people on alert as searing heat stretches from the Southwest to the Midwest and then on to the Northeast. The Canyon Fire north of L.A. erupting yesterday, already burning 8 square miles. Multiple structures burned, thousands more threatened. Smoke blowing hundreds of miles away. This was the sunrise in Las Vegas this morning. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault from Southern California.
Tonight, the West is a tinderbox with multiple wildfires raging out of control. The Canyon Fire burning north of L.A. At one point Thursday, torching a football field every 2 seconds. Overnight, hundreds of firefighters tried to take advantage of cooler temperatures, digging fire lines amid the flames, using everything from bulldozers to chainsaws to clear brush. But by daybreak, the Canyon Fire was still out of control.
More than 10,000 people are under evacuation orders here, and you can see why. Look at this gap through the tree line in the front yard. That hilltop is on fire.
It's now scorched more than 8 square miles and counting. In Colorado, the Lee Fire and the Elk Fire, scorching more than 117 square miles of land combined. Todd Morris has lived and raised animals there for more than 50 years.
It's devastating. The country that we grew up in is gone.
The fires have been fueled by the hottest temperatures of the season so far, from California to Arizona.
What's your name?
Our Phoenix affiliate out with first responders treating this person in 118-degree heat.
Even an hour from now, he would have had a very different outcome. We probably would have been working a cardiac arrest at that point.
And that extreme heat is fueling powerful storms in the plains. More storms in the forecast tonight.
And Whit, look at the remnants of this building destroyed by the Canyon fire here. The property owner says the flames got within about 20 feet of his house. A gust of wind would have burnt that too. And tonight the Canyon fire is still not yet contained. Whit.
We can see all that devastation. Trevor Ault, thanks so much. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg of our New York station WABC. And Lee, the extreme heat is now moving east.
Whit, it is on the move, but the origin of that heat is still going strong as well. For instance, in the desert Southwest, the excessive heat warnings, they're going to go into early next week with highs near 110 to the north. Still the fire danger high in the Great Basin. The heat is expanding into the plains and Midwest. Triple-digit feels like from Dallas to Kansas City all the way into Peoria tomorrow. Then into the Northeast by the end of the weekend. We could have record highs in Buffalo over to Burlington. And here in New York City, we're set for the third heat wave of the season. Heat's going to be in the eastern two-thirds of the country into next week, and on the edge of that heat, we look into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. It's storms from Sioux Falls to Duluth tonight, Des Moines into Green Bay tomorrow, some damaging winds, hail, even a brief tornado. Whit.
Lee Goldberg, as always, thank you. Overseas tonight, Israel's cabinet has approved a plan to take control of Gaza City and relocate an estimated 1 million Palestinians. The major escalation is sparking condemnation from hostage families and European allies. Even Israel's military is raising concerns. ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, reports from Israel.
Tonight, in a major escalation sparking global condemnation, the Israeli Security Cabinet approving plans to seize control of Gaza City, where Hamas may be holding some of the remaining 50 hostages, only 20 still believed to be alive.
We don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter.
The militants condemning Israel's announcement. An estimated 1 million people, half of Gaza's entire population, may be forced to relocate. Despite new aid airdrops, humanitarian groups saying Gaza's hunger crisis is worsening. Horrifying new video out of Gaza City showing a balcony collapsing as a crowd desperately tried to reach an aid parachute that got caught. We met one group of Palestinians approved to leave Gaza for urgent medical treatment in Jordan. Among them, children, some hit by shrapnel from the shelling, suffering from infected wounds. Noor's 8-month-old daughter Hannah needs a heart operation. She weighs less than 9 pounds. We're dying 1,000 deaths a day, she says, and she fears once her little girl recovers, they'll be sent back into Gaza, into a war that looks set to get even worse.
Whit, Netanyahu saying he wants to free Gaza from Hamas and get the remaining hostages out. But after 22 months of war, Israel has failed to completely do either. The UN now warning this new plan will increase the killing, the suffering and the devastation. Whit.
Ian Pannell in Israel again tonight. Thank you. Now to the frightening incident on the world's largest cruise ship. A piece of a massive water slide breaking off, injuring a passenger inside. Tonight, what we're hearing from witnesses who watched it all unfold. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, a terrifying scene aboard the world's largest cruise ship.
Stop the slide!
A piece of acrylic glass breaking off as a guest went down the frightening boat water slide in Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Sea.
Oh my God.
That adult passenger injured, a cascade of water streaming down to the deck below.
All of a sudden, people start screaming, yelling, freaking out. We see the water slide, and there's just water gushing out of a huge hole out of the back of it.
Maddie Adams from North Carolina witnessing the accident, telling ABC News she later saw a man bleeding in a wheelchair.
Employees were trying to shield him with towels. There's like plexiglass, acrylic glass from the slide on the deck below. It's honestly a miracle that nobody was severely injured.
That vessel traveling between the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Bahamas when the incident took place Thursday. That water slide, the tallest drop slide at sea, with riders descending nearly 50 vertical feet. In a statement, Royal Caribbean saying its team provided medical care to the injured guest, who is in stable condition, and that the water slide is now closed pending an investigation.
And the Icon of the Seas had its maiden voyage in January of last year. It's due back at the port of Miami tomorrow.
Morgan Norwood, our thanks to you tonight. When we come back, tributes to an American hero, Apollo 13 astronaut Jim Lovell, and chilling pictures inside the home of the Idaho college murders, what they reveal. And a moving act of forgiveness, a woman hugging the defendant accused of killing her husband in a hit and run. Next tonight, chilling images of the Idaho college murders are now being made public following the sentencing of convicted killer Brian Kohberger. Crime scene photos inside the house where 4 students were viciously stabbed to death. There was blood on the walls, doors, and floor. 2 handprints can be seen on one of the windows. A picture of the open sliding glass door Kohberger used to get into the house. He's now serving 4 consecutive life sentences for the murders. A remarkable act of forgiveness unfolding in a Georgia courtroom during sentencing of the defendant who killed her husband in a deadly hit and run. Regina Johnson forgave him and hugged him in front of the judge. Joseph Tillman pleaded guilty to charges which also included driving under the influence. Tillman whispering, "I'm sorry." Johnson explaining God told her he needed a mom hug. Incredible. When we come back, surveillance video showing alleged thieves breaking into a store accused of stealing one of the most popular toys of the summer. To the Index tonight, authorities searching for thieves making off with thousands of dollars worth of a wildly popular stuffed toy in La Puente, California. Labubu's mischievous-looking rabbit-eared creatures sell for about $30, but go for much more on secondary markets. A store owner sharing this surveillance video here saying it shows at least 4 masked people breaking into the store, stealing dozens of boxed toys. No arrests have been made. A passing to note, we learned today Green Bay Packers legend Billy Howton has died. He was believed to be the NFL's oldest living star, one of the most productive wide receivers of the pre-Super Bowl era. He still holds the team's single-game record with 257 receiving yards against the Los Angeles Rams in 1956. Billy Howton was 95. NASA releasing an incredible image of an interstellar comet racing across our solar system. The comet from another system is traveling at about 130,000 miles per hour. Discovered July 1st, the Hubble Space Telescope capturing one of the most detailed images yet of the comet. NASA says it's no threat to Earth. When we come back, remembering an American hero, Apollo 13 astronaut Jim Lovell.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir. Sponsored by Progressive.
Finally tonight, remembering Apollo 13 commander Jim Lovell, his ill-fated mission to the moon and back while America and the world held its breath. It was April 13th, 1970, 55 years ago. The Apollo 13 mission, the NASA astronauts turning a catastrophic accident into a triumph of American ingenuity. And astronaut Jim Lovell was commanding the mission.
The crew of Apollo 13, wishing everybody there a nice evening.
Jim Lovell was a Navy test pilot before becoming an astronaut aboard Apollo 8 in 1968 when they took this now iconic photo of Earth.
We were so curious, so excited about being at the moon that we were like 3 school kids looking into a candy store window, watching those ancient old craters go by. When we determined that we would get and burn into the lunar orbit on Christmas Eve, we thought, boy, we ought to say something. What can we say?
Reading from the Bible on the creation of our planet.
God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day.
2 years later, he would command Apollo 13.
Now, with his usual good humor and enthusiasm, Jim Lovell faces his next voyage.
When all of a sudden, something went wrong. The world riveted, immortalized in the 1995 film, Tom Hanks playing Jim Lovell saying that famous line.
Houston, we have a problem.
But in fact, those words weren't exactly said like that. Here is the actual sentence uttered by a strikingly calm module pilot, Jack Swigert, and then repeated by Lovell.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
The command module had lost power. The oxygen tanks were leaking precious air supply into space.
The Apollo 13 spacecraft has lost all electrical power.
The astronauts aboard and mission control scrambled together an incredible plan to keep them alive and get them home.
Stand by, 13. We're looking at it.
After 4 days in space, a hero's welcome in the Pacific Ocean. Late today, NASA announcing Commander Jim Lovell has died at the age of 97. Tonight, Jim Lovell in his own words.
Space flight is so interesting. The rewards far overshadow the risks. That was my feeling.
And we are all grateful. What a legacy. Thanks for watching tonight. I'm Whit Johnson. Have a great night.